I am a convert. That is, I grew up in one faith practice and later in life switched to another. I am an Episcopalian by choice. That means the things that I came to believe and do as an Episcopalian were things I had to learn, to find out. But for me, that wasn't a problem. As a teen, I was captivated, gripped in the power of a new religious conviction, and I immersed myself in everything there was to immerse myself in being an Episcopalian. I was like Jasmine on the magic carpet. A whole new world. I read every book I could get my hands on. I was an Anglican now, and I needed a whole new vocabulary, a new approach, a new mindset, set of customs, and wardrobe. When faced with a decision, I'd ask, do Episcopalians do that? When given a choice, I'd ask, is there an Episcopal version? This was serious stuff, and boy, did I take it seriously. My experience of throwing myself into a newfound conviction may seem familiar. There's something called the zeal of the convert. Converts sometimes appear more fervent when compared to those born into something. Neophytes like me have made a choice. And the draw or appeal of a new way of doing things is powerful enough to change a previously held pattern or identity. Of course, not everyone who changes a religion or other affiliation will have this sense of enthusiasm, but it doesn't seem uncommon. John the Baptist found himself surrounded by people in the wilderness. They'd made their way out to the desert because they'd heard some remarkable things that changed lives. People had conversion experiences, and the curious wanted to find out more. Here we are, John. Tell us what to do, they said. And they were determined. Even John's hurling insults couldn't drive them away. Now, one possible scenario could have played out like this. John could have welcomed some new disciples. I imagine there was plenty of room out in the desert. Grab yourself a camel hair coat. Here are some locusts. The honey makes them taste a little better. The code of conduct would be ascetic. No haircuts, no wine. Living out here, you'll be closer to God. Instead, the baptizer talks about life back home. Share what you have with the people where you are. In your work, act fairly. With the power you have, use it well. Be satisfied with your portion. He doesn't tell the tax collector to resign, nor does he say to the soldier, become something else. All the new ways of being John described were within the context of people's own lives. Lives lived not in the desert, but in the villages, towns, and cities they came from. Now, make no mistake about it, John asked people to change. He called for repentance. He was uncompromising and strict. But as different as this new existence was, it wasn't lived in a remote wilderness, sequestered from the world. John's directions were for their old lives, their places of origin, the situations they were in. In my eagerness to be a shiny new Episcopalian, I had hoped that a new lifestyle would obliterate all my long-standing worries and problems. It's perhaps attractive to think of new ways thinking will offer a new lease on life, a break away from all that's been harmful and dreadful about the old one. Flying rug, take me away. And in many ways, a fresh perspective made significant changes for me. But soon enough, I came, as many do, to realize that all the things I'd hoped this new faith would cure were still out there. After the high of conversion faded, the world and I still had issues. What strikes me about today's gospel is that John the Baptist didn't ask people to adopt a new wardrobe, find a new address, get new friends, or change jobs. Instead, he told them to work with what they had and where they were. Now, that isn't the kind of conversion that everyone hopes for. But religion, true religion, is for the lives we have, the earth in which we live. Although we may sometimes get glimpses of another space and time, the design of faith practices is not to deliver us into a whole new world. Rather, they are to give us, as the song says, a new, fantastic point of view. This is what the Baptist offered then, and I wish it were something I heard more often of now. Faith isn't an idealized way of living. It isn't an escape. It's the way of dealing with the flawed and frail life we have now.